And hello, welcome today, audience. My name is Scott Engler. I'm going to be your host of today's episode for I Love Looking for a Job, Said No One Ever. And in today's episode, I kind of want to touch on something that is correlated with finding the career you love, but it could really be anything related to a dream you have. It could be a dream for your career. It could be a dream you have for a romantic partner. It could be a dream you have towards traveling. Anything that you've, really been thinking of and's been on your heart, but for whatever reason, you haven't found yourself taking action towards it. And what inspired this recent broadcast was I recently wrote an article for a website called Dreamitalive. And what Dreamitalive is, it's an online community of people, obviously, dreaming is involved, which they share their dreams with the community related to all aspects of their life. And, I was asked to write an article about visualization and even vision boards and how that could contribute to fulfilling your dreams. Now, just to back up a little bit, what I want to touch on today has a little bit to do with the article I wrote. And what the article I wrote was an equation. And so I said dreaming plus doing equals destination. And so the point of this concept is that it's really easy to dream. And in the article I talk about how dreaming provides a distraction from your day-to-day living. It feels good to think about something you'd really want to do. So we do it. It comes naturally. I'd love to go visit Paris one day, or I would love to work for myself and have my own business that's very successful. So those kind of thoughts, it feels good to think about them, and it's easy to do. It doesn't require much effort on our part. And the issue with that is nothing except if you don't take any action, and then it just remains a dream. So what I wanted to talk today about was to focus on the two biggest obstacles that I have seen in not only my own life, but other people that I've worked with over the years that kind of keeps the dreaming phase just a dream and doesn't get to a destination. So the first thing that I've noticed with a dream is it'll be too big. And what I mean by that is not that it's not attainable. It's that someone will have a dream that is so broad or vague or just abstract in a way that there's really nothing concrete about their dream that is going to motivate them to take immediate action. And so, for example, if your dream was, I want to take a trip to Paris one day, I mean, that sounds great and it's a great dream. But if you change kind of that dream and then you were able to set a goal around it and saying, I need to get my visa renewed. And so that's your first goal, right? And so there is within that dream a goal that is going to give you the ability to take some action on. So what do I need to do to get a visa? Well, I have to, maybe I have to come up with this amount of money that it costs. I have to contact this department that, does the visa renewals. And so there's all these things that kind of take place, but at least that's something tangible rather than just kind of throwing out this big dream that you want to do and maybe not have anything practical supporting it. So that's the first obstacle that I have seen as far as, really hindering a dream coming true. And the second one that is kind of really holding people back too from their dreams is the difficulty of actually doing it. And so, like I said before, dreaming is easy, it feels good, but the doing part requires what? It requires discipline. It requires taking lots of courageous action. You know, most likely you're going to have to do things that you are either not familiar with doing or not comfortable doing, and there's a lot of uncertainty involved. So, with example for your career is if you want to leave, let's say you have a 9-to-5 job that you just just can't stand anymore for whatever reason, and you really feel a calling to start a business. You want to be a health coach, and you want to help people get in shape through taking certain supplements or working out, and you want to show videos of how to do that or exercises or whatever that looks like. You basically you want to do this on your own, but you're scared because you've been working for a company where you kind of have clients. You don't know how you're going to get clients on your own, or that's going to require you to do things, as far as online marketing, where you're going to have to do YouTube videos and you don't know how to do a YouTube video. You're scared about being on film. So there's all these kind of fears that go into it, right? And so, one of the ways around this is a quote, goes back to a quote that I really like. It says, "Big dreams start with small, unreasonable acts." And so what my suggestion is rather than climbing Mount Everest first, as far as, what your action plan is going to be, why don't you do something very simple and really gain momentum that way? And so, and by simple, I want to be clear, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy or that it's not going to be uncomfortable, but it just means that it feels more attainable to you. So one of the things would be, if you want to, branch out on your own and start your own business, why not start with creating a website? And so that could be, a small step in the direction of going on WordPress and getting a website made for you. And, it's not too expensive. And so at least that way there's somewhere to start. And you don't have to quit your job that day. You don't have to, do all these other things. Like, that might just be a simple action that you could take in the direction. Now, when I say simple, it might still be scary. I know for me, when I had to start my own website, I am not tech savvy by any means, and I didn't have the slightest clue what went into creating a website and how I was going to go about doing it and who was the best person to do it. And that's why it's really so much easier now than ever to just ask a few people. I heard WordPress was a decent way to go and fairly inexpensive for me to create my own website. And so I, followed a few recommendations, and a couple months later had my website up and running. And, so that was my own experience. And so that's one of the things that I feel really hinders people, is that they don't really set themselves up for success or create that momentum, and they just make it too obscure or difficult, right? So then you stay stuck, like, I don't know how I'm going to do all these videos and how I'm going to attach it up. There's all these things that came up for me, at least, and I've heard from other people, where it just becomes too overwhelming, then you don't even start to begin with. And one of the things that I want to kind of touch on with that is perfectionism, right? And that, goes in with the second block, is we're not going to get it perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. We learn things as we go along. And so, even with doing this broadcast, I was looking at all these different types of podcasts or webinars, but, at the end of the day, I just decided I need to do it. I'm going to pick one and go for it. And so I did, and that's what I did. And, if down the road I decide that there's some better podcasts I need to use, or something that's integrated better with YouTube or whatever, then I'll do it at that point. But, I needed to just take a step in one direction. And so I feel like a lot of people fit in that category, where they need to know that they're going to succeed or they're not going to do it, or they need to have everything figured out before they take action. And while there's wisdom, of course, in doing research and looking into your best options, I know for myself and other people, a lot of times it could actually become more of a way for you to not take action. And so if you find yourself that you're trying to get it perfect, that would be my recommendation for you, is just pick something and go for it, and you'll really just work out the kinks as you go. You'll get feedback about something, you'll see that something doesn't work right, and then you'll make the necessary corrections. And, encouraging yourself along the way, you're taking a step in this direction. Kudos to you for putting yourself on YouTube in front of a live audience. That's a scary thing to do. And, just to really be able to congratulate yourself for taking these steps I find is very important. And so by, going back to the quote of big dreams starting with small unreasonable actions is you will find that as you are walking in your passion or this dream, you're going to have what you need to make it come true. There's obviously this dream, this passion has been put in you for some reason, and you have some gift that you want to share to the world. Now, of course, if I decided that I'm 32 years old, I want to be a professional NBA basketball player, that dream probably not the most realistic, just got to be honest with yourself about that. But if it's a dream that you feel is incorporating what you're really passionate about and what you're really good at, that's a different story. And so that being said, you are going to find within you the passion, the gifts, the creativity, the love, the motivation to walk through these scary things, because they are a little bit uncomfortable and they are scary, and some feel more uncomfortable than others. And as you find that you kind of challenge that, it's like I relate it to working out a muscle. So at first you're going to take this scary action and it's going to feel uncomfortable, you're going to have a little bit of soreness, but as you continue to take courageous action, you will find that it is going to feel more natural to you to do so. You might still feel uncomfortable, but you know that you've had this feeling before and you could work through it. And I hope that makes sense for people listening. So that is what I wanted to convey today. And as regarding the last part of the article that I had written, it was for a website. Again, it's called Dreamitalive. And what I liked about the website was that it really supported a community of people. And I think that's a big thing, that it's not an obstacle. And you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead. It is an obstacle in a certain sense. If you have a dream or you're working towards something and you're not sharing it with people, or you don't have people in your life that are supportive or encouraging you while you're working towards this, the chances are a lot less likely that you're going to fulfill your dream, right? Because it feels good to, if you're going through all these things and, uploading some video and found this new cool website, if you have another friend that you could share that with and bounce that off with, and, he or she might have another cool idea for you to implement, it's going to make that journey a lot more enjoyable and easier for you to get to where you want to go. And so bringing it back, I really enjoy Dreamitalive because there's about 50,000 users, I want to say, on there, and you have the option. You could keep your dreams kind of on your own private account on the website, or you could share it with the community. So anyone could kind of see, well, Scott is wanting to reach out to people that are trying to find their career dreams, and this is how he's going about doing it. And, maybe someone will reach out to me and say, Scott, I've been wanting a job here, or I'm trying to do the same thing. What's your experience been like? So that way, you're kind of really uniting in this dream and making it more real. You're putting it out there. It's one thing to just sit at home and think about going to Paris or thinking about that awesome job and what that would look like. And it's another thing to actually tell people, like, this is what I want. This is what I'm working towards. This is how I'm doing it. There's an accountability there, right? It's not just, you're not just sitting there by yourself, because it's a lot easier to sit there and dream and not take action and then not be disappointed or, go through that fear or disappointment again if it doesn't work out. Once you have accountability, once you're taking actions, like, you're putting it out there. And it is a little bit more uncomfortable. It's a little more scary, but at the other hand, you could be that person that just sits there and never fulfills any of their dreams, and they walk through a mediocre life and feel numb and are envious of people that actually do fulfill their dreams. So my hope is for people that are listening that you are not in that category, or if you are, you don't want to be in that category of people that sits around and kind of is a spectator. I like to call it, like, you're kind of watching someone else's life, like you'd be watching a sporting event and how they're going through these motions and doing all this cool stuff. And yeah, sure, it's entertaining to watch, but what are you doing? What are you doing for yourself? And so that being said, I would encourage all of you to make that list, and of those small, unreasonable acts you could start doing today to work towards your dream. If you have any questions, you could feel free to email me at www.thejobinterview.com, and I'd be happy to hear any comments or questions that you have. Feel free to reach out to me as well. LinkedIn, Scott Engler, that's Engler, or Twitter, my name is Startups Unite Us. That's StartUpsUnite, capital U, capital S. Thanks for listening, and I hope to hear from you.